something. So when it comes to any other kind of emotion, if there is something terrible happens in your life, so usually there are few set of peoples. Okay, there are people who would want to hide their emotions. They're like they are happy in front of everybody, but inside they would be crying. Or
Yes.
there are few set of people who are like, they would just isolate themselves, and then they don't want to talk to anyone. They just want to be for
So is
themselves
it
and
okay
all
to
that.
be isolated when you have
No,
any bad situation?
no, not at all. It's not okay to be isolated.
So
Okay, you can have your own space. Yes,
mm,
of course, you can have your own space. So usually what happens, we think that okay, something wrong happens, you don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to close the door and I just want to sit there. What happens in that time, you would start thinking, you start overthinking about that particular thing. That will make the situation even more worse.
so hi guys, so once again welcome back to our channel. So this is my Ranjith and with a new podcast. So in today's podcast I have a special guest and her name is Akha ma'am. So in this podcast we're gonna discussing about psychology. We will be including the topic like mental health. We will be talking about how to overcome failures and talking about depression. So today's podcast is gonna be really interesting and amazing, guys. So if you are new to channel, guys, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. So enjoy the podcast of Ranjith Bohra with Akha. Hi ma'am.
Hi, Ranjit.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good, Ranjit. How are you?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm also doing good. And how's your campus going, ma'am? I mean, the teaching.
Yeah, teaching is going really well. I think all the classes are going well, and even I'm enjoying teaching.
So, ma'am, I would like to, I want you to give a short introduction of yourself, starting with your introduction.
Okay, so hi everyone. So my name is Shalya Kama. Currently, I'm working as an assistant professor in CMS Jain Deemed to be University. And talking about my college, where I have completed masters is in Christ, and also I've done my bachelor's in my hometown, that is in Kurg. And yeah, I mean, now currently I'm pursuing my PhD in Jain itself. Yeah, that's all about me.
Okay, ma'am. So, I would like to take you back to a campus life, ma'am. How was your campus life?
My campus life was really nice. That is something everybody would say. Like they would enjoy their campus life, of course, and especially during my masters, or it could be in my bachelor's as well, where I've been part of many clubs, like marketing club. It could be any extracurricular activities. It could be. There were many things that I wanted to explore when I was studying, basically, because not just to be part of it, or not just because I have to add all these certificates in my CV. It's also because I wanted to get engaged myself in certain things.
So, what all things you learned from that, being engaging all those clubs and extracurricular activities in your college?
Yes, of course. Like, it's not like I'm, for example, if it's a dance or singing or something, I'm not good at dancing or singing or something. I just wanted to be part of it so that I'm,
To explore.
to explore more, and not just exploring, I don't want to get deviated with any other topic. I just wanted to keep myself occupied every time. And also not just that, in many other clubs like marketing is something which I always love, to study, to read more about. So in the marketing club, it could be when I was doing my bachelor's. So I was part of it, and I like learning new things every time. So that's how.
So, why did you choose psychology, ma'am, as your main subject?
Uh, See, psychology, it's not my major, basically.
Okay.
Okay, so marketing is my major, but I actually thought, like, when people told that you have to teach psychology and all that, I was teaching
So
psychology for CMS.
in master also, you are
Yeah, I have studied psychology. Yes,
okay.
of course, I've studied psychology. Psychology was the subject that I studied in my masters as well. But see, in the masters, yes, of course, I had a basic idea of what psychology is and all of that. That subject is more interesting because we would get to know the behavior of the people, right? So now I would get to know, like, yeah, if at all, if I want to interact with somebody, right, I know like what kind of a person he or she is, and how should I interact with that person. There are a lot of things which you learn from the psychology. There could be a lot of things like mental disorders. It could be the mental health. It could be like the mental health of a people. So there's so many things. There are many exciting things which you will come across when you just start studying psychology, or when you read psychology books, or if you can watch a lot of videos and all that. A lot of interesting facts and so many things which you can learn from psychology. Especially it's because psychology is something which you would experience in your day-to-day life,
So you are really
right?
enjoying.
Yes, of course I am.
I was just waiting for this podcast, mainly talking about psychology. So mainly, I just want to start with how to control emotion, ma'am. I mean, we used to be in bad situations. Sometimes we will be in good way, and but we don't know how to cross. I mean, to control the limit, right?
Okay.
So how?
uh, Basically I feel that you don't have to control emotions, right? So that's what I feel like. Emotions are something which is more exciting in our life, actually, right? There could be a situation, something wonderful happens, so you would be like extremely happy and all of that. There could be a situation like something terrible happens in your life, so you would just collapse or you'd feel sad and all of that. So it's always up to you, like how do you take, you know certain situation. It could be like, for example, there could be a few people, different ways of dealing with situations, right? If you're happy, we'll all tell that, okay, yes, I'm happy and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that, okay, we don't hide it or something. So when it comes to any other kind of emotion, if there is something terrible happens in your life, so usually there are few set of peoples. Okay, there are people who would want to hide their emotions. They're like, they are happy in front of everybody, but inside they would be crying.
Yeah,
Or there are
exactly.
few set of people who are like, they would just isolate themselves, and then they don't want to talk to anyone. They just want to be for
So is
themselves
it
and
okay
all
to
that.
be isolated when you have
No,
any bad situation?
no, not at all. It's not okay to be isolated.
So.
Okay, you can have your own space. Yes,
Mhm.
of course, you can have your own space. So usually what happens, we think that, okay, something wrong happens, you don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to close the door and I just want to sit there. What happens in that time, you would start thinking, you start overthinking about that particular thing. That will make the situation even more worse. The mental health, basically what I'm talking about here is, so when something like this happens, when you talk to someone, maybe somewhere they would give you some kind of like, it also depends on what kind of people you're talking to
Okay.
also, right? So when you want to talk to someone, like any friend, call a friend or anybody for that matter, talk to them, and also give space for yourself, right? Like, for example, if you feel bad, okay, I mean, it happens. It's easy for me to tell you that, okay, fine, if something happens like this, you do something that you like. It
Mm.
doesn't happen that way. You don't feel like doing something that you like because you are sad, right?
Mm.
So usually, when you're sad or something, any such things happens in your life, it's always to tell other person, this is what is happening in my life.
People who are close to you.
Exactly, close. And if you don't trust that person, it's fine, it's still fine. But in case, if at least there would be one or two people who you trust in your life, right? So at least you can go and you can tell them, this is what happened. They might tell you, like, okay, that's okay and all that. That makes you feel more
It's
comfortable.
give a hope at
That
least.
will give you a hope. A lot of people who do this, who doesn't share anything, those are the people who take a wrong decisions in
Mm.
life, because there's nobody who to tell them what to do, or
Yeah.
there's nobody to deviate them from that particular thing.
Mm.
They keep isolating, and they isolate themselves, and they keep thinking about the same thing again and again. That can spoil your mental health. So
So,
it's always better to speak about
so have you
whatever.
ever been on that situation? I mean, being sad, being alone, and
Not the extreme and all of that. Like
okay.
normal things, yes. Everybody would have gone through certain situations like this in their life, obviously. So I never isolated myself. Yes, I always felt that, okay, I need my space. I don't want to talk to
Mm.
anyone. I also felt that, but also I regretted that. I should have, instead of isolating myself, I should have spoken to someone. I should have told someone, okay, this is what happened in my life, and I tried it. Maybe next time when I had to go through certain situation like that, I did speak to people who I know, like who I can trust, and that made me they comforted me. They told me that's okay. It happens. Even it happened with me, with many other friends also.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I mean, it's okay. So I felt more, I felt better, like,
Okay.
uh, it's
Even going
good.
to worst scenario, I mean, is it? It will be better if we say some with someone, right? Share the
Yes,
feelings.
definitely.
Mm.
Because see, you never know when you're going through certain things. If you just tell them, they might tell you there are bad. Like, I mean, there's no good people or bad people. Okay, there are few people who you cannot trust as well. So in that scenario, okay, but at least you will know there could be a parents. Of course, you can trust, but there are certain things which you cannot share with your parents. But
Mm.
you always have your siblings.
Yeah.
In case if you don't want to share it with the siblings, also there is something called as, like, I wouldn't suggest, this is in the extreme, like, if it's like more than 5 days or 6 days, you are going through the same same page, then in that case counseling is something very good, because those are
Therapy,
the people,
therapy.
therapies and all that. You don't even know that particular person, right? If you cannot trust anybody, if you don't want to share it with your friends, family members, or anybody for that matter, you can just go to the counselor. Those are they have certain rules and regulation. Definitely they wouldn't leak out whatever you would want to tell them, and they are not somebody who will advise you. They would definitely comfort you. Like, they would tell you, I mean, you can openly tell them whatever you want to. When you speak out, that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
You get more
You
relief
feels that
when you talk to someone.
something is get out of your
Yes,
mind.
yes, at least. See, now if you have something in you, if you tell somebody, you feel so relaxed,
Yeah.
right? So that is something I would recommend
So, ma'am,
people
what
to
kind
do.
of changes you find in yourself, in your behaviors? I mean, after studying psychology and before psychology, did you notice anything like that?
Yes, of course, I did a lot. Psychology, you will first thing is it's a part and parcel of our life, like whatever we go through in in the day to day life. If you see like any kind of problems that you're facing, you cannot avoid it, right? You cannot avoid such things, something inevitable like conflict and all that.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, in the workplace, it could be so when you have to talk to your boss or your colleagues or anybody for that matter, you have to deal with them every day. So there are certain people who doesn't understand the behavior of the other person, and they were like, okay, boss is irritating me, every time he's giving me a lot of work, let me change, let me switch to some other company. So there also it's the same thing. It's just that the problem is not the boss or not anybody, it's just that we don't know how to deal with the people,
It's
right?
the way we think.
Exactly. So maybe the difference that I find in myself is now, I used to get angry very soon. Like, if somebody says something, I would get angry. I'm like, okay, how the hell can you talk to me like that? How dare you talk to me? But now I feel like, okay, fine. Could be that person has some kind of a thing, like
Yeah.
personality, some kind of a problem within him, or that personality itself is like that. So it's okay. I can keep myself, calm, and then maybe I can talk to him or her later. Yeah, that can resolve the problem as well. So in that way, small things, yes, there
Yeah,
are a lot
you
of
find a lot of
difference.
change.
Yes.
And talking about, as you have done master, right? So,
Mm.
I mean, the people close to you, I mean, do they ever used to get advice from you, talking about mental health or something like that?
Yes, as in close to me, as in my friends, and
Relatives, yeah,
yes,
anyone?
not like exactly relatives, but yes, friends.
Yeah, yeah,
Whenever
okay.
they have kind of a problem, any kind of a problem that they are facing, small problems or anything it could be, they do call me and they ask me like, this happened, what can be done. So generally, yes, they do call me and ask for
So,
suggestion.
how to maintain mental health and keep your mind calm? How, ma'am? How can we make our mind calm and
Yes, there are many ways, how you can cope up with this. Uh, so, okay, so dealing with your emotions, okay. Now, for example, meditation and yoga, that's the best thing that everybody recommends you to do, right? So always remember, like, whenever you're going through some kind of a problem, everybody will face a problem, okay. One thing I would recommend is talk to people and just and keep and give yourself some space as well. So what happens, people, when they get angry or anything for that matter, people start throwing things around. You would have noticed such people, they have a different, how they deal with the emotion is something different. So they throw things, they hurt themselves or they hurt other people just because they cannot control their emotion. It's not about controlling the emotion, it's actually, you have to experience these kind of uncomfortable emotions, but don't you shouldn't get stuck with them forever.
okay?
You
So,
should get
move
away
on.
from that, you should move on.
Okay.
So to move on, there are certain, there are like coping skills also which you can adopt, like meditation and yoga and giving space for yourself. So giving space here for yourself, it means, so for example,
Ma'am, is it
like,
mean to make yourself busy by doing yourself?
exactly. So, for example, if you're sad, if you're upset, okay, for some time, yes, you can be sad and all that. After that, you should take things positively, right? Instead of always overthinking. Now, for example, in the college itself, if I take somebody and ask them, okay, come and meet me now. you would think, okay, what did I do wrong?
Mm.
I would have done something really wrong. That is why mom is calling me. So it could be the other way around also. You would have done something really good. That is why I'm calling you. There could be a good reason also. But people always, the first thing that strikes them is, okay, what wrong did I do? Like negative things comes first.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always good to think in a positive way. Take things in a positive way. Okay, that is something very important.
Ma'am, and I would like to ask you, I mean, is there any connection between meditation and yoga?
See, meditation is not easy. Like, it's easy for you to see somebody meditate. Feel like how easy it is. Like, even I can
Yeah,
meditate,
yeah.
but it's not easy. To get a concentration, you have to pay a
Ma'am,
lot.
what exactly happened in a meditation, ma'am?
See, meditation is, you'll get a awareness about your own feelings, right? What you're going through, right? You're getting awareness about your own feelings and the emotions and whatever it is. You learn. You'll sit and you will deal with that.
So
Right?
is it like, I mean, focusing on only one single thing? Is it like that in meditation?
Uh,
Can I say?
not like one single thing, but it
I mean,
will give
improving
you.
your focus is it something like that?
Definitely, the concentration, yes,
Okay.
definitely the concentration. For example, the people who are get more anger, short-tempered people, and all that, they meditate a lot, right? So what happens? Your concentration, you're concentrating on one particular thing, right? Your concentration is here. You're focused now, okay, and then you're trying to understand what exactly your feelings is, right? Awareness about your feelings as well. So in that case, what happens? You are deviating from whatever the negative things. It's all the positive now. You feel relaxed. You feel relaxed, like you will forget all the negative things that has happened in your life. You are focused now, and it gives you a lot of mental peace. And this environment is itself is as such where you're meditating. It's full peace and calm. You feel so relaxed and so better, and that will motivate you to do a lot of good things in your life. So I mean, forgetting all the past that had happened, so that can motivate you to do a lot of good things. That is why I would recommend meditation and yoga as well. Yoga also, it's
And
like getting
what about gym,
yourself
ma'am?
in.
Gym, I mean, going for gym, is it
Yeah,
okay?
that is also, I mean, people who are like, there are a lot of gym freak and all that, that gives them a lot of happiness. That's what I'm trying to tell. Give yourself some space. So for example, do whatever you like. So when you're upset or something, okay, fine, you like ice cream, just order ice cream and eat. Right? You like going to gym, just go to gym. You like dancing, just dance. That will deviate you from taking any wrong decisions or overthinking. Basically, if you're not doing something what you like, you keep thinking about the same thing again and again and again, and that would spoil your mental peace
Ma'am,
again.
why and mainly in society, ma'am. I mean, why people are afraid of talking about this mental issue?
See,
From your
now,
perspective, why
yes,
do you
yes,
think?
in my perspective itself. So it's a high time we should normalize this. People think, like, in case, if I tell that I'm meeting a counselor today, people like, what happened? Why? What's wrong
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you? I mean, people think 100 things about me just because I'm meeting a counselor, right? They would say that something is wrong with that girl. She has some kind of a mental problem or something. We should stop thinking like that. I know it's high time that we should stop thinking like that. So basically, what happens now? For example, if somebody, you would see somebody in the counselor with the counselor sitting in the college itself, then people would think that now it's quite normal. But there are few people who judge you based on your activities as well. Okay, if she's going to the counselor meeting counselor, that means something is wrong. So we should, I mean, first we should stop caring about all of that. Okay, in case if you have any problem, for that matter, anything, a simple issue it could be, in this, if you talk about the teenagers and the youth. So basically, the problem that they have is relationship problems and all that, right? If you have any such problems also, that's okay, right? You can go and talk to a counselor. If you're not comfortable to talking to, obviously you wouldn't be, in that case, you wouldn't be comfortable talking to your parents sometimes, or you don't want to talk to anyone, so you just go to a counselor, talk to them. It's fine, right? It's high time to normalize. I think we should open up
Uh,
and we should talk, like, what is the problem that we
is
are
it? I
going
mean,
through.
it is just like, I mean, if we got any disease or we got anything,
Yeah, if we
we
get,
used to visit doctor, right?
exactly,
So the
if
same
we
thing.
have fever or something, like if we are suffering, if we are down with fever, you just go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything. But if you're meeting a counselor, if you're going to a psychiatrist, it's a big thing. Like, why is she
Yeah.
going to a psychiatrist? So I think we should stop all that now, and we should consider the mental health also, just like the normal health that we have. This,
Ma'am, from psychology perspective, what does it say regarding failure in life? I
yeah.
mean, from mental behavior. I mean,
So when you, for example, you want to do something in life, okay, you want to start your business or something,
Yeah.
that's okay, you can go ahead and start. But also you should be mentally prepared. Okay, you shouldn't be like, okay, fine, it is going to be successful. Okay, you know that your goal is to be successful, of course. But in case if there is some failure, also you should be ready to accept. Okay, there is a failure. I wasn't successful. That's okay.
I
That's
mean,
not.
I gave my best, but
Yeah, that's okay. It's just you give it a try, and that's not the end, right? You can, obviously there are a lot of other ways. If not this, you can try something more. I mean, there are many other ways where you can start a new business, or you can do a lot of other things in the future. That particular business itself not your life, right? There are a lot of other things that you can enjoy, and you also know that what you are good. That's something very important in the psychology also tells you, like, of course you have to know what uh, the other's behavior is, and also you should know your own behavior as well, right? And also you should know what you want in life, what you want to do in life. When you don't know, like, your own personality, then definitely you will not take a right decisions. That is when you depend on others for advice and all that. That's when you ask people, like, what do you think I should do? It's good to take career advice and all that. Like, that is when you take career advice when you actually don't know what you like. When you know what you like in your life, what you want to do in your life, and what kind of personality is yours, and what kind of work you can do in future, only then you will get into a right path. Otherwise you'll end up, for example, I can take the same example of commerce, arts and science. When you had a option to choose these three, that time we didn't know what to choose and all that. We would just go with our parents or family members or anybody. Like, we would say, okay, fine, they are asking me to take science, I'll go for science. But when you realize after a point of time, okay, science is not my cup of tea, I'm not interested in science, I would want to do something else, right, in commerce or any other subject maybe.
ma'am,
you
there
know
is a misconception. I mean, people always often used to think that, I mean, if a student he choose science, oh, this is so genius, and if someone is taking commerce, oh, he's taking commerce like that. I mean, what do you want to say about that?
No, there is nothing as such. There is nothing as such. Nothing like science, nothing commerce. Obviously, science people cannot. There are a lot of things which science people cannot read in commerce, and commerce people, of course, there are certain things which they cannot. It's just that your interest. Okay, so if I'm interested in science, definitely I would be good at science. I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly.
interested. That is my interest. What I like. So I like commerce because maybe I like dealing with numbers and all of that. So I like commerce. I'll go for commerce. So I don't like science. It's nothing to do with, like, okay, science is very difficult, I cannot study this, not my cup of tea, I can't. Nothing like that. It's just that you're good at commerce and you're interested in that particular thing, you're going for it. That's the mistake that we make when we, after soon after 10th grade, we would be like, okay, fine, my parents told it's science, I would go for science, right? And later when you realize, okay, science is something, there are few people who also would have changed because it's difficult to study. I do agree with that as well. But most of the cases, what happens, like, people don't know what they're interested in, what they like, and what kind of job that they should go for. Should they go for business, should start business, or should start working in corporate, or what kind of role you want? Some people don't know about it, right? So it's better to know about yourself first, and then take a decision in life.
So it's like choosing your passion, right? I mean, I mean,
Yes.
what we like is that's only passion, right?
Yes, that's what you're interested in. Just go for it. Instead of asking someone or somebody making decisions for your life, that will definitely later, end of the day, you will change. Like, you will be like, no, I don't want to do this work. You will realize that self realization will definitely will happen later stage. So instead of waiting for that stage to come, you would have changed it even much before.
Ma'am, how long been you are teaching in CMS?
It's been like 3 years.
So how do you feel now?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I mean, the main reason why I like teaching is because I get to,
Have you been in any depression or any low phase in your life?
yes, I've been to, like, not the major one, not like depression and all of that.
Okay.
But I felt low many times. Like, for anything, it could be some kind of a conflict anywhere with friends or family members or anybody. So I definitely felt low, but not like depression.
Okay. So, ma'am, what matter at the end of the day? I mean, from your experience, from the things that you are doing, according to you, from your perspective and your experience that you gained till now, what matters most for you? I mean, is it anything?
Mental health. Mental health is something which matters a lot.
So, what is the best advice that you ever received from anyone? Best advice in your life?
Best advice in my life. Uh, I think best advice that I've listened, even from my parents or from my friends as well. Do what you like.
Just
That
follow your passion.
motivate. Yeah, follow your passion. That motivated me a lot. So that's why I'm here. I think so.
And the third one, ma'am, how to avoid distraction, mainly in our generation, ma'am. I mean, we have a lot of things. I mean, distraction. I mean, when we start one thing, then we will say that, oh, because of this, I was not able to do it. I mean, so in order to avoid,
Yeah.
how
I would say you should stop cribbing about what happened. What happened is happened. Okay. You have learned a lesson from that, and now you have to improve yourself and you have to go forward, move forward. So don't look back. What happened has happened, and just
last one, what first things comes in your mind when you hear the term psychology?
I would say mental health, right? Mental health is something which I would give priority to. If you have a mental peace, then everything is peace in your life. So yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am, for this podcast. So I hope people who are listening, they get to know a lot about mental health. I mean, how to cope with their failures, everything. So at the end, what one thing you would like to add, ma'am?
That's all. I think I've told everybody everything so far. Uh, I think just that, just follow what you like, do what you like in your life. That's what the advice that I've received. So I would just tell the same thing to you all. Just follow your passion, do what you like, right? Stay happy and don't overthink and take everything positively, right? So that's more important in life. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you once again, ma'am, for being here. It's my honor to have you in this podcast, ma'am.
Thank
So
you,
that
Ranjit.
so that was the end of today's podcast, guys. So until the next podcast, try to learn something new. Just follow the passion and just give a try. So bye bye. Take care.
Thank you.
It's caught in the crossfire.